Awesome. Welcome to our first Winners Wednesday of the month. You guys probably recognize some of our very special guests, Miss Jaybee Hawkins out of Tulsa, Oklahoma, and Mr. Ruben Garcia all the way from Fayetteville, North Carolina. You guys need to show me. You guys are sporting so much cooler shirts. So what's going on here?
We're cooler.
Yeah. I know, right? I'm like, I forgot to change before this.
It's luxury.
Oh, I love it.
I love it.
That was one. And JB, I think I see an EXP going on.
Yes, new sweatshirts, new swag. Yep.
I love it. I love the earrings too. So
thank you.
Yeah, we got these too. Only real estate. I was giving these out at EXPCon. So show up to EXPCon if you guys, not just you, for everybody who's watching, because I might be giving away more free merch.
I love that. And that really actually leads into our topic today is how do you not only survive as a brand new agent, but how do you survive or thrive rather in this market shift? Because unfortunately, we know the NAR, National Association of Realtors, statistics show that 87% of brand new agents don't renew their license. So they get out of the business in the first year or two. Take that a step further, I think with the market shift and kind of what the predictions that I've seen out there is that 30% are going to get out this year. And so I know our goal, I speak for Jaybee and Ruben, is to provide as much value as possible, as much training as possible, because we don't want you to be a part of those statistics, which I think you guys are a perfect example. You're walking billboards, right? You eat, breathe, wear real estate, which really you have to do in real estate. So I think I want to ask you guys, what do you feel is the most important thing as a brand new agent to get in there and start really making sure that not only do they survive this market, but they take market share? Because I think there's a huge opportunity here to take some market share.
Yeah. Ruben, you go first.
Yeah, sure. I think, so of course I got an acronym, right? But it's bring some sass, right? SAS, bring some sass. I will say the S, and I won't move to the A and S just yet, but the S is, I think it's a mind, because I'm honestly seeing it in our own team. I think the mind share or the mind shift that needs to happen is that everyone, including Micah, including JB, including myself, started from the bottom. We all started from the bottom, and I think what they do is they're starting to compare themselves to a lot of people. And believe me, I'm seeing this, and they're honestly looking to either check out or join other teams, even with EXP if they're not with a team. And I have to remind them, like, guys, stay consistent, keep doing what you're doing. We all started here where it sucks, where we're walking through the mud, where we're just like looking at each other, looking at ourselves in the mirror, saying, "You suck," because you're not getting results. We all started there. So first, I just kind of want to throw that out there. You have to have a shift in your mindset. You start from the bottom like everyone else.
Yeah.
Right. Because that's the secret sauce to anything, right? It starts with your mindset. And it's easy to say, oh, well, the grass is greener on the other side. If I did this, then this would change. You have to ask yourself, are you in the fastest vehicle? And one of the conversations I've been having with a lot of real estate agents this week is it's like a 10-speed bicycle and a Ferrari, and they're in a race. It doesn't matter how fast the 10-speed bicycle goes. The Ferrari is going to win. So number one, you have to ask yourself, are you in the fastest vehicle? If the answer is yes, then number two, what changes do you need to make in order to seek that opportunity? JB, what about you?
Well, I think a lot of new agents, they kind of get in the mindset of, not treating this business like a 9-to-5. And I think to be successful in this business, you have got to put the time in. I know that all three of us on this call, we've all done that. I had a conversation with an agent a couple of weeks ago. She was like, I just did not get into real estate to work 9-to-5. I got it, for the flexibility. So that is not going to work in this market, even if you're a seasoned agent. You've got to turn the hustle all the way up. And like Micah and Ruben both said, you've got to get in the right vehicle. You need to be aligned with people that, good mentors, great training, and you need to really dive in head first and, do the prospecting. Nobody loves to prospect. But you talk to the most seasoned agent on the planet, the most successful agent, nobody loves it. but you have, I mean, it's necessary in this market, and it's really the heart of your business. So prospect, come in early, work until you have to.
What is that phrase? You know, I got rid of a 9 to 5, 40 hours a week to work 100 hours a week, but at least I'm building something for myself, right?
Right.
I was talking to one of our top producers this morning, and she's like, I'm great at cold. I was like, what are you going to do to double down, make sure that you crush your goals? And she's like, I'm really good at cold calling, but I hate cold calling. I said, listen, I don't know anyone that actually really enjoys cold calling, but people know that it's essential to prospect, and prospect is where you control the outcome. So, you know, you got to pick your hard, right? And we always hear you got to pick your hard, which leads me into my next question about, and by the way, for anybody watching this live, if you guys have any questions, go ahead and give us a little thumbs up, heart, but more importantly, put a comment below. Hopefully we can get to your question over the next 20 minutes or so. But I think the other part of it is really creating a roadmap to success. You know, if we were going to drive, you know, Ruben, if you were going to drive from Fayetteville to go see Jaybee in Tulsa, you would have a GPS. You would have some kind of guide, right? Otherwise, you might end up in Maine or something. But then, more importantly, when you have a guide, you can also allow for detours and really get back on track quickly, which I think that guide in real estate is a business plan. So what type of business plan do you guys have to really reverse engineer those numbers to not only know what you need to be doing quarterly, but monthly, daily, weekly, setting appointments, things like that?
Ruben, I'm going to let you take this one because I know you've got this down to a T.
Yeah, I mean, I think, and to go back on your other thing, you know, there's a quote that goes, if you don't go and build your dream, someone will hire you to build theirs. So yeah, it might take 100 freaking hours a week, but who cares? You're building something pretty big. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, so we have, if you're married, we have a state of the marriage that my wife and I do once a month. And what that does is start to align what next year, or what we're focused on this year, but what does next year look like when you're looking at a fourth quarter, when you're in fourth quarter of a year. And so that's what we did. We looked at what do we want to accomplish both financially or personally and professionally. Well, those things that you start to look at, you say, man, well, how the heck are we going to accomplish that? Whatever that thing is. Let's say it's $100,000 to put into an account. And you say, okay, cool. How am I going to do that? You start to break it down. Okay, so how many closings do I need to sell, or how many closings do I need to have in order to, at my average sales price, in order to get this much money, whatever this much money is, let's say it's $5,000. We're going to put some to taxes. We're going to put some to cost of living and everything else. And then what's the chunk that you're going to pull out of that that's going to start funding that account? And you just back it up. Well, how many closings do I need in order for that to happen? Well, how many listings taken do I need to have in order to have that many closings? Well, how many listing appointments do I need to have that many listings taken? Well, how many contacts do I need to have in order to have that many listing appointments? Well, how many contact attempts do I need to do to have that many contacts or listing appointments or listings taken, the closings to the cash that we're going to put into the account? And then all you do is focus on contact attempts every single day. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 50. We do about 50 a day. 50 contact attempts a day will get us to that point. So we just, blinders, 50 contact attempts. Don't look at anything else because we've done the math. If we do this and focus on this, we can accomplish the 6-figure account. So you just chunk it down into a daily activity.
Yep, absolutely. So you reverse engineer the numbers into activities. By the way, we do have a 1-page bulletproof business plan. So if you drop your email in the comment section, we'll make sure that you can get that as well. Breaks down everything that Ruben just said. He said it, you know, in like one sentence, but
gets a little crazy.
Love it. Love it.
Yeah.
JB, what about you? Do you guys, I know you have your team meetings on Tuesdays. Is that kind of your business planning and holding each other accountable in terms of the activities that need to get done?
Yeah. So we have a retreat every November. We set our goals for the next year. And then, you know, some of those are, you know, we have our production goal in real estate. We kind of work backwards as well. We start with what the agents want to make per year. And then we have a formula where we can break that down. So example, if they want to make 100,000 a year, that's 5 deals a month. And so we break that goal down by week, and we're making sure that we're, you know, holding each other accountable at team meeting. Something that we've started this year, which if you know me, I listen to a ton of Ed Milet. He is like my hero. I'm going to meet him one day. But he had, I think it was Brendan Burchard on his podcast. And they talked about, you know, before you lay down every night, you have to ask yourself, did you move the needle in your business today? Because we can get really distracted and we can do a lot of things, but did you really move the needle? So we listened to that podcast together as a team. And it's awesome that at every team meeting, you know, it's like, hey, did you really move the needle? Did you really do the activities and the income producing activities each day this week to move the needle? And so we kind of do something. I'm not as detailed as Ruben, but we do something very similar. And then what's really great is, you know, if you're not on a team, find somebody in your brokerage or find somebody in your circle to hold you accountable to the things that you say that you're going to do. That is huge for our team. I mean, we are each other's biggest cheerleaders.
Yeah.
I was just going to say for the SaaS, the A was accountability. So JB got it. That's exactly right. I mean, you got to have somebody who holds you accountable and can care less about your feelings. Again, looking at this in our own team and getting, you know, maybe asking for permission, like, hey, do I have the permission to be very real with you right now? They say yes, you go, bah! You go bonkers on them because you know what they're capable of. You know what I mean? You know their potential and they're just not seeing it at the moment. So it's your responsibility as the leader to like kind of go at them a little bit and wake them up. But how are they going to get that wake up if they haven't within themselves been able to really expose themselves to accountability? So you got to expose yourself to accountability.
Yeah. One of the things that I love about real estate is it's not just about looking at your goals in January 1st, right? We really operate in 12-week years, you know, 90-day cycles. So conversation I'm having with a lot of agents right now, I'm like, hey, the decisions that you make today are going to impact the height of the market, which is typically the spring market. So what decisions are you making today to move that needle forward? Because as JB just mentioned, there's a difference of being busy, which we can do, and being productive and focusing on those income producing activities, which goes back to those foundational skills of prospecting. Now, it's not just prospecting, it's also making sure that you work out of some kind of CRM, your client's relations management system. I know Ruben's a numbers person. JB, I know you work out of a CRM as well. Honestly, I don't know any top producer that doesn't have some type of CRM, even if it's an Excel spreadsheet. So for newer agents, maybe that don't even know what CRM to use, what advice would you have for them?
They say the best CRM is the one you use. Right. So just Google CRM, pick the cheapest one. It's not hard. That's what I did. It's not hard. Just focus on getting a CRM because, like just real quick, FinCon or financial conference, they had people there that appraise businesses. Well, for free. The first one's for free, right? And I was like, yo, hey, I would love that. And they said, cool. What do you think the first question was? Do you have a database? Mm-hmm. That's the first question, meaning you're not a business unless you have a database or a CRM, period. So that was a good wake-up call, and I'm glad we're pushing that and teaching our agents to do the same.
Yeah, I can't imagine my business without a CRM. And, you know, I talk to a lot of new agents with EXP, and they're like, I don't even know. I don't have clients. Like, who do I put in there? Start with your friends and family. Start with the receptionist at your kid's dentist office, that all the, you know, if you've got kids, the soccer moms, they all need a place to live, and they all would, I'm sure, would appreciate a market update in where they're living. So, I mean, you know, to kind of chunk it down, it seems like such an overwhelming task to get one started. And I think that's what stops people from just doing it. Just commit for 30 days. I'm going to add 10 people a day. And the next 30 days, I'm going to add 10 people a day. And before you know it, if you do that for an entire year, you're going to have built yourself a great database. And in those systems, I mean, we send out a newsletter to 8,000 people each month. The newsletter takes us about an hour to create, and then we send that out. We do that every month. So there's so many different things you can do with a CRM.
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to give just a quick shout out to Jessica, Alex, and Maria. Thank you guys so much for commenting below. If you have any questions, go ahead and put them in. We'll try to get to you. So
I've been watching The Crown.
Both of you are doing like so I think that's really important, because one of the best questions that you can ask anybody that you come in contact with is, hey, I know you're aware that there's a lot of shifts going on in the market. I'm sure you're curious about that in your particular neighborhood. Would you like me to put you on a monthly market update for your neighborhood? You know, and that's boom, go into your CRM. I know at EXP we use KV Core, and we have the ability very easily to set them up where it's automated. So
go ahead. I'm sorry, Micah. I want to offer this. I've got a really good Facebook Messenger message that, you know, says something along the lines of, you know, hey, we're starting out 2023. I'd like to add you to my database. I forgot what it says, but it's really good. I get a lot of response out of it. So I would be more than happy to put that in the comments here before the show's over. It works really well. And that's how the agents and I get a lot of new people in our database.
That's awesome. No, I think that's great. And yeah, if you're willing to share that, that would be amazing. Collaboration at its best. So speaking of brokerage, you know, I think a lot of times, Devin, he said that would be great. So yes, awesome. Speaking of, you know, brokerages and being in the fastest vehicle, I think one thing that we really forget is also building our own personal brand. So, you know, we've got Proven by Ruben. JB, you've got your team branding. You guys are both wearing, you know, branding and, like I said, being walking billboards. What does that look like? I mean, what advice would you have for a brand new agent? They're like, I don't even know what my brand is. How do I start? Where do I start?
Ruben?
Allie, what's up? Man, that's a good question. I will say this, you know, I wouldn't focus too much on maybe the wording of your brand. It could just be your name, to tell you the truth, because I want people to think about this, you know, like if I were to start a burger joint, right? And I was like, hey, to both of y'all, I came up to both of y'all and I said, listen, I'm about to start a burger joint. I'm going to sell billions of burgers a year or a day. I'm going to sell billions of burgers. It's going to be the most fantastic thing. And I'm going to call it McDonald. You'd be like, excuse me, how in the world would anybody know that's a burger joint? McDonald? That makes no sense at all. But now look at it, right? Now they're selling billions of burgers because they made their brand. The brand didn't make them. So don't get too caught up on it. Just go for it. Whatever feels good to you, you will end up making that brand by the way that you go into the market, by the way you show yourself on social media, by your service, by your honesty. All that will build your brand. The brand won't necessarily build you, so don't get too caught up on it. I would say that.
I love it. Yeah. JB, anything you want to add to that?
Ditto. No.
Ditto.
I do think I absolutely agree with Ruben. You are your brand. One thing that I would just make sure of is everywhere you go, on social media, everywhere you go, let people know who you are and what you do. I think a really good option for just getting out in your community, one, we should all be doing that, is getting involved in our communities. But I think a really good thing to do is business to business. You know, hey, I am JB. I'm with EXP Realty. You know, how can I help your business? Those, you help each other. And so we used to do a lot of business to business. We kind of fell off that during COVID, but this year it's definitely in our plan. You know, go showcase a restaurant that you go eat lunch at, get with the owner. And I mean, there's so many different ways to build your brand within your community. So just let everybody know you're a realtor.
Yeah, don't be a secret agent, right?
No.
Well, in one of the other phrases that I love is if you own the mind share, you own the market share. So how can you stay in front of people? And that goes back to your brand, goes back to not being a secret agent and letting everyone know that you're a real estate agent. You can't sit just behind the computer, although you can do online lead generation, which works, but you have to be belly to belly to build those relationships. So what I'm hearing from you guys is it's really about, number one, aligning yourself with the right people in the right vehicle. And then number two, going back to those foundational skills, which I think is really true, not just for brand new agents, but even agents that have been in the business a long time that may be struggling. I've talked to agents that have been in the business 20 years and they're having the slowest market that they've ever had. But if we think about it, this time is really going to separate the people that are serious. It doesn't matter how much money you have or how much experience that you have. This time in particular is going to be opportunity for those that take it serious. So I think really to my last question here is, how do you guys practice, or how do you coach and train your teams to practice? So what I mean by that is, when we look at professional athletes or professional actors, they're not filming a movie and that's the first time they've ever seen the script, right? They're not going to the football field and that's the first time they've ever thrown a football field. It's all the hours and hours that they've spent behind the scenes to get ready. And I think for agents maybe that don't have business right now, you could be practicing. And then one of the ways you're going to learn is to start prospecting and getting better. So what does that look like for you guys?
It's so interesting that you said that, because the last S to SaaS is show up to go up, right? You got to show up to the training. You got to show up to the mentorship stuff. It's super important to us. And one thing that we do is we put on our Be More trainings. We got the Freedom Fridays. We have so much that you can start showing up to before actually implementing and going in the field. Now, I'm a big proponent to just go in the field. We'll figure it out later. We just did this with an agent yesterday, brand new, well, been in the business for a while, but brand new to this side of town, really out there crushing it. And I was like, yo, she got a lead that came in. She was like, oh, how do I set this up? I was like, doesn't matter, go. She figured it out along the way, and then did some of her brand, told her to take a selfie, told her to do a Facebook Live while she was out there. Actually got some people who were like, yo, we're going to be going your way. Would love to send you some business. It was the whole thing. So backing up, that was some of the stuff that we teach within the Be More training, is the tracking and going out there, showing your face, doing that stuff. But how would she ever know? And how would she ever take the opportunity if she didn't show up to that stuff that we're going to? So show up to go up. Perfect.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Speaking of Freedom Friday, I have agents all the time in our organization message me, Micah, I want to get into agent attraction. I want to help people. Where do I start? And I'm like, you start by coming to our calls, right? And then you learn things as you go. That's one of the beautiful things about this industry, is you can learn as you go. There's plenty of mentors. There's plenty of people, especially in our group, that are there to help you.
Yeah. So I would say, wait, what was the question? I got distracted.
You got distracted with Ruben's acronyms over there.
SAS.
SAS.
Yes.
Sassy. So back to the foundational skills. I think that's one of the things that's really important for real estate agents to build their business, but also agents that have been in the industry, really taking it back down to the foundation. And one of those skills is practicing, right? Practicing and not just getting out there and not knowing what you're doing, right? So
I think it's very important. Our team, we script practice every week, multiple times. I think when you're not practicing your scripts, or if you're brand new, practice showing homes, practice opening a lockbox. Like, you can't, if you don't practice that and do that ahead of time, you're going to end up practicing on your clients. And that's not always the best situation. So I think, you know, we at Build this year in Austin, was it Austin? No, Dallas. It was in Dallas. There was a guy who got up there and said, you know, you've got to be very skilled and very knowledgeable going into this market. So I think, you know, you've got to know your contract, practice it. Again, find an accountability partner or get with leadership within your brokerage and learn your contract. Go to the classes, practice your scripts, talk with top agents and ask what scripts they use. So I think that's all very important. But when saying that, what I see a lot of newer agents do is they prepare to prepare to prepare to prepare.
Right.
And you've got to be prepared, but then you just got to rip it off like a Band-Aid and go do it. We all had to start there. I will never forget the first time I had an actual live client. I wanted to hyperventilate. We wanted to see one house. It was back in the day of floor time, and they wanted to see a house. And I was like, oh my God. Okay. But I had practiced, but still, I mean, it's never, you just have to go through that. So prepare, but don't keep preparing and not doing it.
Yeah. Don't over prepare. Right.
Yeah. I'll say one last practice thing. It's the same thing I told the agent from yesterday. I said, listen, that Facebook Live, I want you to stand in front of the neighbor where she was doing the showing, in front of the neighborhood sign. And I want you to do a Facebook Live that goes over active, pending, closed in the last 3 months. Maybe how, I think I said maybe how many renters, but average sales price as well. And then just do the call to action. Hey, if you'd like to know this information about your neighborhood, just let me know. And that's for any newer agent who's watching this. You could do that in your own neighborhood. Live in the boonies. We got country around here. Then do it for your county. So you always have that if you practice the data within the MLS and you'll practice telling your story on social media, and you'll practice delivering the information by the stuff that you already have, your neighborhood, your county, and the MLS. It's too easy. And if you do it, tag us 3 in it so we can comment and even like help the algorithm push it out even further. We'll help you guys out.
Awesome. And the last question here before we wrap up is, how would you market yourself during this time in this season?
Well, I think right now education is key. So I think a lot of Facebook Lives. I know that getting on a video like this a year ago, I could not do it. I almost died when Micah asked me for the first time. And getting on Facebook Lives has like not been my thing in the past, but I think educating clients about rates, educating clients about the process, on the buying process and the selling process. So I would do a lot of videos, and I would make my videos more educational based.
Awesome. Anything, Ruben, you want to add to that?
Yeah, I know you got to leave real quick. So comms, we're doing what we call comms, COM, right? Another acronym, right? C, go back into the community. And JB said this earlier, go back into your community, physically go back into your community and start rubbing elbows with business owners and go to some of the local events and start meeting a lot more people. I think that's going to be huge. O, open house. I think open houses are going to be a lot bigger this year. We're already seeing it. Run a 5x5x10. If you want to know more, just comment below. But there's plays that you could do for open houses to really maximize the lead flow that you're going to get. And then M is meet, MEET. So you want to go and meet the people within your database, not just text or call it. Not yet, not in 2023. I think there needs to be a lot more physical, eye-to-eye contact, communication. And if you do those 3 things, we've already seen the pop in the last, oh my God. Oh, I threw away the paper. We've set a lot of appointments in the last 11 days of starting out 2023 running comms. So for all you out there, run comms. You'll be fine.
I love it. Thank you both so much. I mean, that was a lot of great advice and a lot of great questions. So I appreciate you as always. We do this particular episode the second Wednesday of every single month. So if you have any other topic ideas or things you'd like us to speak on, go ahead and comment below. Thank you both.
Bye.